Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by Bronx. This is HD Talk. These are HD things, and I'm your host, Boogie down Bronx. All right, so we got it. I still was trying to think. I was like, it's just so weird to convert tarot to HD things and talk, but you know what I mean. Welcome to the video. As you all know, I have been integrating the human design into my everyday content, my regular content with tarot, and you guys have been very receptive to it. You've been open to it, and that makes me so happy and excited because, of course, when I first begun, I was a little bit nervous to actually, because y'all know me as Tarot by Bronx. So, but I can't be in a category forever, and I still love tarot, and I'm still gonna do tarot, but obviously I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm building upon what I already have with my platform. So we're just gonna keep it going. I'm really glad to see all of you are really getting into your design, knowing what you are, your type, and following your strategy and authority and things like that. So this was a highly requested video for manifestors, just manifestors, not manifesting generators, just manifestors, because I know a lot of you are always telling me there's not much info on manifestors. I don't know what to, you know what I'm saying? And that's probably because manifestors only make up, I think, like 9% of the population. Like reflectors, manifestors, and projectors are like make up less than generator types, right? So it is going to be a little bit harder to find the information. And human design, it's not like super old, and it's not super new, but it is on the newer side, newer than like astrology. Like human design only really came about in the, what was it, like the 90s maybe? So that's, that's like 20 something years old. But anywho, this video I was waiting, as a generator does, well, as a generator following strategy does. I know you all kept asking me, I want to see a manifestor video. Where's more manifestor content? And like, if I'm teaching you guys how to follow your strategy and authority, I need to also follow mine. So, just as a tiny sidebar for manifestor energy, because you may not understand how the other types work in full. So I am a generator and we have to wait to respond. So, manifestors, like we're going to talk about it in this video, how you guys still do need to wait in some ways, but not the same ways we need to wait. We need to wait for external confirmation. You guys don't need to wait for anything external outside of yourself to initiate, to inform. Your waiting comes from within. Ours comes from out here, but also with emotional authority, I also do need to wait. So I need to not only wait for some type of external excitement or something to trigger a response in me, I also need to wait for my own emotional authority and emotional clarity. So there's two things I'm waiting on, right? So when you guys tell me, hey, can you make a video about this? Can you make a video about that? I might think to myself, up here, yeah, that's a great idea, but my body may not be ready for that, or it may not excite me. So I'm like, yeah, I want to, but my body is not like, my body's not jolting up, but then there's some topics where you guys are like, oh, can you talk about this or that? And I'm like, yeah, like that really excites me. So that is what I was waiting on in order to make this video for manifestors. I was waiting for that body excitement, that body response. Like I didn't just want to make any old manifestor video where I'm just explaining something boring and like random that doesn't excite me. If it excites me, it's going to magnetize to you and it's going to pull in all the manifestors that need this message at this time. That's how it works. So if I were to just jump when somebody was like, hey, do this video, hey, do that video, and my excitement's not there, the message would not be delivered in the same way. It wouldn't be received the same. So now you understand why you can request things from me. You can tell me, give me suggestions and ideas, but I cannot move until I feel the excitement to do so. Okay. So that's just, a kind of putting you in my shoes of how it works when I'm trying to give you all these messages, the best quality content. Okay. So let's get into it. Do manifestors in human design ever need to wait? Yes, they do. And this is a very interesting topic because, when you're learning about your type, I'm sure you've learned that You are designed to just initiate. You don't need to wait for anything. And for the most part, that is true. But there are a few things that you do need to actually wait for. Okay. And I'm sorry if you hear any type of background noise. There's things going on outside. But just follow my words. Okay. So the types of manifestors that need to wait, and before I get into it, I just want to re-inform you all that your strategy is to inform. Informing is not an official strategy. It was added in to help you all in your journey as a manifestor energetically, but to initiate. And then you have a closed and repelling aura. So it is very important for you all to inform because your aura is closed. That means that people can't fully understand what you're doing unless you tell them. So you might think that you're being very direct, energy wise, like it's very obvious what you're trying to do, but it's like you have to sometimes over explain yourself in order to get your message across, get your point across to people. So that might be a little frustrating, but it is to help you in the long run to, people to understand where you're going, things you're doing, and things like that. Because they cannot read your energy. Like generator energy, we have a open and enveloping aura, a magnetism that draws people in. You guys have an aura that pushes people out the way so that you can get what you need to get done. We have an aura that draws in energy towards us. So it is very opposite in that way. So anywho, the manifestors and waiting, there was a very interesting thread by someone named at Captain Stud on Twitter. And this was one of the things that sparked the response for me. It was like 3 different things that came up all in correlation. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing the video on. But they had a great thread on like their experiences as being a manifestor, the things they need to wait for with having emotional authority. So manifestors don't need to wait for outside influences, right? Anything that you're waiting on is something internal, right? So more of your own cues, your own clarity. So the first type of manifestor that needs to actually wait is the emotional manifestor. So if you are a manifestor with emotional authority, you need to wait for clarity. I just did a video on emotional authority a few days ago or last week, and I discussed in detail. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But your emotional authority, your authority determines the final decision about whatever it is you're thinking of doing or initiating or informing, right? So emotional authority is not supposed to initiate or inform from a place of emotional highs or lows. So with emotional authority, you're going to feel a full range of emotions, right? Before you decide to act, respond, initiate, accept invitations, whatever it is, right? There's going to come a time where you're going to get an idea, but if it came from a place when you are feeling very emotionally low or sad, depressed, that is not the time you need to be initiating things. That is not the time you need to be informing people of your plans. Or if you're on a high, you're angry, you're raging, you're whatever, and you're frustrated, you're like, I'm gonna go start this, I'm gonna go jump into that, I'm gonna tell people this. It's not the time to inform, it's not the time to initiate, right? Or when you get some type of idea, and you're not sure yet, you should, or if you're anxious, you're nervous, you need to ride the wave. You need to feel all the emotions that come with it. And then finally, when you get to a place of being neutral enough, at least like a lot more calm, but you're still like pretty certain about what you want to do or you're excited about it, then you go towards it. Okay, so emotional manifestors should never be impulsive with initiating new things. And this is where you can run into a lot of frustration and trouble or even anger, where you're trying to initiate from your emotional high or low, and you end up not doing it, you end up falling through, you end up disappointing people, you end up like confusing people because you've already informed them when you were in a depressive state, or you have already informed people when you were in a very angry state what you're going to do, and then you end up with regret. You end up not fulfilling what you were supposed to do, or it doesn't give you that peace. That's the energy you're always going to be striving for, is peace. it doesn't give you that peace. And now you're like, well, what went wrong? What went wrong most likely is that you did not ride your emotional wave out. You did it when you were feeling very emotional. Emotional authority does sound a little counterintuitive, where it's like you would think that it means to act in a place of emotion, but it means the opposite. It means to act in a place of not being super emotional. So, yeah, you need to ride out your emotional wave, wait for clarity, and do not force yourself to initiate through that wave, because it can be a roller coaster of emotions. So do not force yourself like to make a decision, or to like say something or agree to something or start something when you're feeling like that, because it will cause you to feel this sense of guilt or regret, or like, I don't understand what happened, like this turmoil within you because it didn't work out. And it's because like not every idea you have, not every spark of inspiration you have is something you need to initiate on the spot or at all, especially with emotional authority. Like your emotions will always affect your perspective, your perception of what's going on around you. So you need to give yourself that time to come into a middle sense where you're like, okay, I can understand what is meant for me now, or what I really want to start or initiate, because I've rode the wave. And if you never get that sense of, okay, I'm pretty sure now, or it's still like very, very iffy, or you're still like, I don't think so, then it's a no. You're not supposed to initiate that, or not right now. Okay. And then again, with emotional authority, you will never be 100% sure about anything, because emotions are never 100% stagnant. Any little thing can affect your mood, or your emotional wave, right? So let's say like you inform somebody of something and they give you a negative response. Prior, you were feeling very confident about it, but then when they respond, they give you negative feedback or criticism. Now you're on another emotional wave. So instead of continuing to just initiate now that you've been re-triggered, or get re-emotional, you have to wait it out again, right? You may still end up doing whatever it is you want to do, but don't just try to initiate after you've been triggered with anger or resentment or anxiety. Ride the wave again, because if it's meant for you, you will get back to a place of emotional clarity and neutrality. So give yourself time between every new endeavor, every anything that fluctuates your emotions. Before you start, you want to be at least 70 to 80% sure. So the yes certainty should outweigh the doubt or the no. Okay, so as long as you have enough certainty and you're pretty neutral emotionally before you start something, you're going to be good to go. You're going to find that you have less regrets. You're going to find that you have less emotional turmoil. You're not just informing, you're not just taking on baggage, you're not just leading, initiating from the mind without checking in with your authority first. Okay, you always need to follow your authority. At the end of the day, especially emotional manifestors, you need to wait until your emotions level out and you can feel clear before you initiate, before you start. Okay. So that's the first type of manifestor that really, really needs to wait more than any other type. The next manifestor that needs to wait is, well, all of you. Okay. You need your rest. Manifestors still, even though you're categorized as an energy type, you are not meant to sustain that energy like a generator. Your energy is meant for initiating, not sustaining. So when you try to continue to sustain the energy that it took to initiate whatever it is, or go into the next phase of your life, that's not where you're meant to continue on. You're not meant to do everything by yourself as far as sustaining the things. That's where generators' energy respond and get excited and pick up where you left off, right? So manifestor rest period should be 80% recovery, only 20% intensity, okay? So intensity, 20%, you give it your all for initiating all the energy it takes to starting a new business, starting new relationships, starting a new whatever, going into something new, developing your idea. And then all that energy, you need 80% recovery. That's a significant amount of recovery time, okay? So remember the 3 R's, which is rest, recovery, and reflection. The reflection period is very important because the reflection period is to know whether you honored your authority and made the right move or not. Okay, and so this is where the reflection period is also important to inform others of what you have learned along the way, what you decided, how you did it. This can teach a lot of people. This can give generators something to respond to, something that excites them and lights them up. But you have to make sure that you have your rest and recovery period. Your rest periods are very important because this is when things come to fruition, the fruits of your labor come to you. And this is also where you develop a full vision for the next surge of your inspiration. Okay, this is where you need to recharge. So this is where the waiting period comes in for you, the waiting/resting period, because you need energy to initiate the next big thing. So it's kind of like with projectors, how, projector energy is it can be very all or nothing, and it's the same for manifestors with the waiting. So with projectors, it's like they're waiting for the next big invite, right? But in the waiting period is where they're developing skills for that invite. They're getting ready, they're getting their knowledge ready, they're understanding, they're getting smarter, stronger, whatever. So then when the big invites come, they're ready to go. Same with you, manifestors. So it's like, in those downtime, that waiting period, that's not where you should keep pushing. That's not where you need to keep initiating new things. That's where you should be resting and preparing, because something big is coming. It's mostly big inspirations that hit you out of nowhere. It's not like with generators, the responses can be anything from little to small, everything in between. With generators, it's rarely going to be big excitement every single time. It's going to be a lot of little ones that build up, and then we have it builds to something really big, or it's randomly big. So with manifestor and projector, it's like you're waiting for these big invitation, this big inspiration, these big moves. And that's why it can be a lot more shocking when manifestors decide, I want to do this now, I want to go here or there, because it's big. It's not anything that's subtle or small most of the time, right? So this is where you need that energy for gathering up energy for, informing people, the people that's going to repel, the people, the backlash, the opinions. You need energy to confront those things. And you have the willpower, right? With the ego and the connected to the throat, the motor connected to the throat. You have the energy, you have the willpower to get these things out of your way. However, you have to make sure you're resting in order to do that. If you don't have the energy to initiate, that's really diminishing your power, and it is going to make you angry because you feel like you don't have what it takes to move these people out the way, and you do. But as long as you are really taking ownership of your resting periods, you are not designed to go. Okay, like I said, generators are meant to carry out your projects after you've initiated them. They're meant to help you. So it's important to inform, when I made that informing video for you about why you should inform, it is to repel those people who are not meant to be on your path, but it is also for you to find people that want to support you along the way. If you don't inform at all, you don't give anybody a chance to be there for you, and you don't take the risk in finding the energy that's supposed to be with you. It's like you protect yourself from rejection of people who potentially aren't supposed to be there, but you also run the risk of not allowing a space to create for people to come in and also understand what you're doing. It's not going to be every single person you repel. Every single person has something negative. Some people are going to be very oh, wow, I want to be a part of that. I want to help you, carry out your vision. You need generators. You need manifesting generators and generators to help you have the energy to carry out this vision long term. Yes, you can start something, you can initiate it, but to actually have it sustainable and long term, you need more hands on deck. You need more people who are in your corner, can support you, can hold the energy, and the generators that are excited to do so. It doesn't need to just be you're forcing these people. No, they have to be excited to do it, and they will. Once the excitement is there, it can last for years. So this is where you need that energy to, you get yourself started, but then this is where manifestors think they need to always be by themselves. No, The by yourself period is only so you can get your foot in the door and really get a solid foundation to start. But you need the energy to help you carry it through. Like, I really think of Aries season as being the manifestor energy. And then, you know, Aries is all about initiation and assertiveness and aggression and going for it, Mars energy. But then you need that opposite energy, which is Libra, which is the partnerships and balance. Like, that's where the generator energy comes in to help bring it into union and carry it home and forward, right? Like, everybody plays a key part here in society, in all the types. Like, the manifestors, you know, they need the generator energy. The generator energy needs the projector energy. And everybody needs reflectors, because we all need to know if we're doing things right as a whole or not. Okay? So, you know, and you're not supposed to do like sustained work, okay? And then the key advice for you is to stop before you feel tired. That's like the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video. To wrap it all up and take it home, is you need to stop working before you feel tired. Like, if you're burnt out as a manifestor, it means that you are trying to use some sacral energy that you do not have. You do not have a consistent, reliable, sacral, energetic battery supply like generators do. Even generators are supposed to rest, but their recovery periods are very minimal. They don't need as much long periods of rest, especially if they're living true to their design and they're doing work they love. They're right back at it in the next day or the next few days. You know, they don't need all that time off like manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. Me, I don't take much rest. Like, I don't really need it. Let's say I don't need a break, but my break periods, I always have energy regardless. Like, I just always have been like that. I never needed to be down for the count for a long time. You know, some people need weeks, months to recover. Never been like that, ever. So I don't really get it. I do feel tired sometimes, but I'm never burnt out completely unless I was doing something I hated. And then I would be like tired. But even so, I still had energy to do something I loved, regardless if I'm tired or not. So manifestors, you need to stop before you feel tired and before you feel burnt out, similar to projector energy. So if you still feel like you have energy, that doesn't mean to keep going. It means to just relax and get ready for recovery period, or allow other people to kind of step in. And, you know, this is why you inform people of like what their role is going to be, or like roles you need them to fulfill in your life, in, you know, whatever it is you're trying to create and envision. And that'll take some time for you to think about what that looks like for you, because it'll be looking different for everyone here. But like I said here, to recap everything we just went over, the manifestors that need to wait, emotional manifestors, and then you need to wait for your full 80% recovery period and period of reflection to see where you might have did things wrong or where it could have been better. And make sure you go back and you inform people of what you learned, or like ways you need help. Because like I said, for manifestors, remember, closed mouths do not get fed at all. For manifestors, you have a closed aura. That means people cannot read your energy easily. You cannot just assume, and this is what's going to make you very angry. You cannot assume people just know what you need. You cannot assume people and this is for everybody, you know, this is life advice, but especially for you, you will feel very misunderstood by society, by your friends, by your family, because you're assuming that these people know exactly what you're going to do. You guys are very unpredictable, okay? And so you have to understand and give us a little bit of grace that people cannot follow unpredictable patterns, choices, behaviors, because even you guys get surprised, I'm sure, by your own ideas. You don't know what's going to come to you or when. So you have to wait for that as well. Like, you don't know what's going to hit you, what time of day, you know, when you want to create something on the spot. And so you have to give us some grace to inform us, like, we don't know, we're not in your head. We don't know what you're thinking. Most of the population is generator. We're responding to things outside of ourselves, and, you know, that excitement. But our aura is very magnetizing so people can understand us and read us better. They know exactly what's going on in our heads, what we're going to do. They can anticipate our next steps. We cannot anticipate your next steps. We do not know what you're going to say. We do not know what you want, what you're thinking, what you're going to do. So please inform us, right? You guys are very independent. You do things your own way. We're just trying to understand what you're doing. If you just give us a heads up about what it is. Yes, again, some people are going to be repelled by it, but not everybody in the whole wide world. So if you learn not to take that personally, it's just the way your energy is set up, that people just cannot read you that well. It will help you to find that peace of mind and like, this is just how it is. We all the types have things where it's just how it is, and it's not to hinder you. It's to really free and liberate you into using your energy the best way to not restrict you, but to like, just help you, right? There's certain things about us as people that it's like, it's just the way it is. It's kind of like accepting these certain limitations, but using them as a way not to restrict yourself, but to accept and encourage yourself and other people around you. Everybody has things about themselves that they look at as like a limitation, or, it's not as easy. Everything it's not comparable to what anybody else has. It's just, this is how the energy is. But if there's a way to work with it better, so you don't have to really feel that limitation as much, go with it. As a generator, I don't feel very limited as much as I used to, because I know the way my energy works, and it takes the pressure off of you to feel like you need to be doing something else other than what you're supposed to do. Like, I have a lot less pressure on me to initiate. Like, yeah, waiting sucks sometimes, but I know something's going to come up eventually. It's just a matter of like me not being controlling of the world and just be receptive, right? So using your energy to your advantage, you can do it. And it won't feel, when you learn, it will become second nature. I don't even think about it much anymore, about how I'm responding or when I'm going to respond. It just happens. It pops up whenever it's ready, and I just go with it. So that's what we have for you, manifestors. Your reading, well, not really reading, but you know what I mean, your energy reading. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what resonated the most. Tag me on Twitter, Tarot by Bronx. Tag me on Instagram, the vibes. Comment, like, subscribe down below. I am at Tarot by Bronx.